Thank you
Now,
very
how
much.
do you prepare your voice? Let's say you're going on stage and you know you're going to have to hit all these notes, which
Yeah.
I can see it takes a lot out of you to reach these notes.
Well, it actually for opera it's very very different. Opera is actually easier. It looks more difficult, but it's actually easier because I'm using what's called the maschera of my face. Like if Pavarotti would sing Maria, like I just sang, he would sing Maria, in that very kind of cutting bel canto tone, which is way up in the face. Whereas I sing it like, being on Broadway, Maria, I sing it right in my throat, right in the mouth to make it warm sounding. But the bel canto, the Italian technique, is more about, you have to, I don't know if you watch, but I had to take a nice deep breath and then you sing on top of that breath, and your face is like a trumpet almost.
Right.
And you got to blast through the orchestra, because if you're singing an opera, nothing's mic'd. The orchestra's in front of you. They're putting up a wall of sound that you have to penetrate, and you got to get, if it's a big house, you got to get to that last person, and you want to be able to do that. And I had good training as a rock singer. I didn't do any screaming or anything like that, but I did 4-hour jobs. We had 4-hour sets. So singing in an opera, usually for a tenor role, it's like singing for an hour. It's really not much more than that. Maybe some German stuff is longer. You might have to sing for an hour and a half or maybe 2, but I can sing for an hour easily. That's not hard.
Was it a difficult transition for you to go from rock to opera?
It really wasn't, because there's a lot of passion in rock music, and I kind of just translated it to be a little bit more suave, with the opera stuff. And sometimes when I'm doing opera, the sopranos hate me because I have a lot of friends in acting, Chaz Palminteri and Tony LoBianco. They're all method actors, so they've taught me how to act. And when I sing opera, it's all about love and grabbing her and squeezing her, especially, certain things like Madame Butterfly. He's a naval captain and she's 15, so it's all these stories. And they're always pushing me away. They kind of want to stand there and do that kind of opera thing and look straight out. But I can't do that. I'm like, oh, come over here, get over here. And for Butterfly, it played very well because she should be pushing me away.
Right,
but,
right.
For other things where, you're supposed to be coming together, they're like, get away from me.
Now, you started in theater. You were
did a lot of
Oliver and
yeah,
quite a few-
I did Oliver when I was 6 years old, and then gosh, I moved into doing stuff like I did Tony and West Side Story, and both Jesus and Judas and Jesus Christ Superstar. I did Little Abner and Little Abner. I did Danny Zuko in Grease. So I did.
How about acting now? Is that something that's in the future for you?
I think so. I'm taking on some new responsibilities now that my wife wants me out of the house more and the kids are all in school. She wants me to do more. So I'm going to go back to doing more theater, I think. And my agent is pushing me that way. I have an agent for Broadway, and then I have an agent for opera, and I really didn't want to go back to the opera world because it's just a very political world, and it's very tight, very close family. And I'm coming in it like, Steve Tyler from Aerosmith, I'm the Aerosmith version of an opera singer, So, and my coach at the Met is really kind of saying, look, you sing beautifully. You really should start auditioning for these big operas. So, I've got some avenues to.
What's your website so people can go and check out what's going on with you?
MichaelAmante.com, www.michaelamante.com. That's AMANTE. And we're just launching a new website. I hope it's up. I don't even know. I don't keep track.
They'll find
I
out.
don't keep track of that stuff. I don't know where I'm going sometimes. I have to call my manager. Where are we today? What are we doing?
We've got a new CD from you. It's the music of Michael Amante, the people's tenor, and it's filled with about 16 different songs. These are all I guess classics: Phantom of the Opera, West Side Story, some of the music that we've heard today. Nessun Dorma is on the new CD, which is the music of Michael Amante. I mean, and you just put this out. This is a relatively new
It's
CD.
coming out. I'm still working on when we want to release it and all that. But we put a single on there that is just, I think, I'm going to sing a shortened version of it. I think is an anthem for our world now, because I mean the whole world is looking for something real to believe in, and the song is called "You Can Believe Again," and it's just, for me, it's just, I love singing it because I think we need that that pick me up, the whole planet. We got oil spilling all over the place. Nobody's making any money. It's tough, and it's worldwide. It's not just us. So I think I should sing this in 14 different languages and just get it out to the world.
And Michael has been #1 on the classical music charts before.
Right.
When you talk about the world, you've traveled the world. You've toured all around the world and performed. And you can speak many different languages, so it must make that performance aspect easier to perform in different parts. Because if you sing in English and you're in Germany, it's harder. But you're singing in Germany.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's where are some of your favorite places? Some of the great experiences you've had?
Oh, well, most of my best experiences have really been kind of like on my own, especially in Italy. I was studying in Alto Calabria, and I don't know if you know about Italy, but there's beautiful mountains in Italy.
I know little Italy.
Both in the south and in the north, but Alto Monte is in the south, and I used to go up and just sing out to the mountains. And some friends of mine had brought me into Napoli, and where you see Mount Vesuvius, you can go around this like curving road up the mountain, and there's a little plateau, and they said, Michael, would you mind singing for us right here? And I just started singing O Sole Mio. It's a beautiful song, and there's just the three of us. We're standing there, and when I get done with the song, we hear all this applause, and we turned around, and a tour bus had let out on the next plateau, and they're like, oh, everybody sings in Italy. And it is kind of like that. A lot of people, it's a very musical culture. People, I have no problem singing in restaurants, and I did a lot of that.
Are you on tour right now?
I've got a few jobs coming up. I've got an outdoor thing in Farmingdale, New York, and then I do a number of different setups where I sometimes do a little bit more of a jazzy setup with 3 pieces. I usually use 9 or 12 pieces, and I have a girl singer that comes in and sings duets for me. I have a lot of friends on Broadway that do duets from Broadway, and people in the opera world do some duets from the operas, and then I've got to go to I've got to go to Pennsylvania and then Minneapolis. I don't even know.
And you're singing in stadiums, baseball stadiums.
Yeah, I do a lot of singing for that. I've sang every sport but NASCAR.
Well, there you go.
So I need NASCAR. That's what I need. That's the only
and
one.
And NASCAR needs Puccini.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did. I sang both Italian and Spanish at I guess it was Giant Stadium, 80,000 people when Rome played Madrid. So I sang Italian for the Italians, and the Spaniards went crazy. I sang Granada, and they went out of their minds. It was wonderful. It was really great. And I was sitting with Kofi Annan, who was the Secretary General of the UN at the time, and so I had good seats.
And right. And you put out an album to help the troops as well.
I did. I put out an album called Amante Salutes America, and I had gone down to Walter Reed Hospital just to visit the men and women over there that have lost limbs, and what we do is we provide money and services so that they can get prostheses and get back on their feet again. And I call them men and women, but to me they look just like boys and girls. They're so young, these guys and girls that are going over there. And then I'm part of what's called the Achilles Freedom Team. They come to New York and they do a race around Central Park, and some of them are either running or most of them are bicycling, and there's a hand crank bicycle that they use. So I'm a big supporter of that because my father was a pilot in World War II and flew 91 combat missions in a P-38, and he brought me up with that real good, strong sense of patriotism in the U.S.
Have you had a chance to perform in the Middle East for the troops?
No, I have not. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to go. My wife would probably say, "No, you're not going." But I would go.
I'm sure they'd love to hear you.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
Now, what's your website again? I know the website
www.michaelamante.com.
And people should log on. They can get your CDs.
They can get CDs. They can also buy individual songs there, too. And they can listen to all the music. I put out a gospel album and a Christmas album. And so there's a lot of different kinds of music on there.
What's left that you haven't done musically? I mean, is there something on your wish list that you hope to make the next challenge? Because I know you haven't even put this album out yet, but for your next project, if you could.
I don't know. I love so many different styles of music. I just love music, and that's really how I communicate best with people. You know, I can be in a crowd, nobody would look at me, but if when I start singing, they're like, "Oh, there's that guy that sings." You know, so I think the Met should call me up and ask me to do an opera over there. That would be nice, but that is a dream of mine. I would like to perform at Lincoln Center for one of their big operas over there.
How about a rock opera? Anything?
Well, I was just talking to somebody because I love Steve Vai. He's a rock guitar player, and David Lee Roth from Van Halen used to use him. Right. I said, if Steve Vai did the music for Cavalleria Rusticana, which is a one-act opera, and it's very dramatic and it's very big. One of the songs is on my album. I said, well, how great would that be if I sang that in Italian and Steve was just wailing on a guitar? That would be wonderful.
Well, we'll be looking for that.
All right.
When you do put something like that
make
together,
that happen.
come back to the Voice of America.
Absolutely.
It's been a
pleasure.